Hi, Mystic, and hi, Petit. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good today. I apologize in advance if I am a little bit low on energy. I woke up sounding like a freaking deer whistle. Yahoo! Yahoo, Mystic. Yeah, my lungs sounded like a freaking deer whistle. Hello, Karma. Welcome. Thank you for joining. How are you doing? I hope everyone is having a nice evening so far. If you hear me taking deep breaths, that's normal. I'm just saying. Starting to be against me. Thank you for liking the stream stuff crust. Hello. Thank you, Anylive. Anylive is trolling already. Time for a history lesson. Yes, monarch reading. We're gonna start not all the way to the beginning. We're gonna start with the House of Valois, which is where the kings are like usually more known. Also, Mortis, hello, welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good today. But yeah, if you guys hear me taking deep breaths, that's normal. I woke up with asthma. That was great. And let me add one row under the E, which is going to be the guillotine tier. Guillotine tier. My favorite tier. Do you have an inhaler? Sort of. I have a basically daily treatment that is a little bit different from an inhaler because it keeps my lungs opened for a longer time. So I did take that, but you know, sometimes it is not enough. The allergies have been hitting me a lot, but I'll be okay. I'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. I just don't want to sound like a deer whistle in the middle of the stream. That will be a little bit embarrassing. Okay. Please be breathing. I will. Don't you worry. I'm used to it. I'm used to it. I'm having these issues since I was a very young spirit. So, like, even if I'm like kind of like choking on nothing, I'm used to it. I'm used to having like a limited oxygen intake in general. Smooth brain, welcome back. How are you doing? So yeah, our first king is Philip VI the Fortunate. Guillotine, croissant. Absolutely. Today's the day. Today's the day. I'm gonna be rating them with appearance, what we know about their reigns, and overall charisma. And Mortiz, thank you for liking the stream. Hopefully we don't crash again. Hopefully we don't crash again. Used to having limited oxygen, yeah. Exactly. I'm used to it. So Philip, so things to know about Philip. First king of France from the House of Valois, reigning 28 to 1350. Fingers crossed for real. Philip's reign was dominated by the consequences of a succession dispute. when King Charles IV of France died in 1328, his nearest male relative was his nephew, King Edward III of England, but the French nobility prefers Charles' paternal cousin, Philip. There's a long history of the French hating the British, apparently, and I think it's like reciprocal. It's reciprocated. So there's that. At first, Edward seemed to accept Philip's succession, but he pressed his claim to the throne of France after a series of disagreement with Philip. I don't understand why someone that is already a king would try to take the throne again. Edward III, question mark? Why? The result was the beginning of the Hundred Years' War in 1337. So, knowing that, immediately he's getting some credits because he fought. Rain. Plagued with crisis. Great. Although they began with a military success in Flanders. Okay. Count of Flanders, who had been Philip initially enjoyed relative amicable relationship with Edward III, and then it went to caca, as we call it. Okay. Thus began the 100-year war. Complicated, but Edward's renewed claim to the throne of France in retaliation for the forfeiture of Aquitaine. At Crécy and loss of Calais. Okay. The estates of France refused to raise money for Philip, halting his plans to counterattack by invading England. Then, 1348, Black Death struck France, killed 1/3 of the population, including Queen Joan, which means that's a big L. So our friend Philip would be a D. I think I'm gonna put him in D. Hi Nate, how are you doing? Could have been better. I'm alright, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Come on, Faye, all of Europe took the hell to the Black Plague. Okay, true, but 100 Years' War, plus the fact he lost some territory, plus the fact that his woman died. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot. Then we have John too. Yeah, his woman died. Queen Joan died. John II the Good. Jean. How? Black Plague. Basically. Black Death. I am looking at Wiki now. Which year of monarch we are talking about? So we are starting off with the House of Valois, which is between 1328 to 1589. So Jean II. Jean II. Let me see. Duke of Normandy, coronation, Battle of Poitiers. Affairs of England approached him. Death. John Lennon in England, January 1364, when he was murdered by Sir Alan Boxall, Sir Richard Pembridge, and Lord Bernard Dover. He was received with great honor and for conquest a few months after his life. He fell ill with an unknown malady. He died at the Savoy Palace. I'm gonna sneeze. My apologies. Where he was entered in the royal chambers at Saint Denis Basilica. Cleveland. Bless you. Thank you. There's gonna be so many clips of me sneezing right at the end. Hi, Puffy. Hope you're doing good. Thank you for the test, Caddy. How are you doing, Puffy? So John suffered from fragile health, engage in little physical activity, practiced jousting rarely, preferring hunting. The image of the warrior here probably emerged from the courage he displayed at the Battle of Poitiers. Well, okay, so he's getting a little bit more credits than the other. Than the other. Hello, Lone Wolf. How are you doing? Where he dismounted to fight in the forefront of his surrounded men with a pole axe in his hands. He's cool. He's cool. Did you see our post? Did I see you guys' post? I think I did. I got tagged somewhere. How long did it rain for? Let me see. 14 years. Basically 14 years, so 13 years, 7 months, and 17 days. Notable. I would give him a rank B. Actually, no, A. A. He deserves a good grade. A. Just eating noodles and waiting for Charles the Beloved. That's gonna be funny. I took that as a no. I would pass. Let me see you guys' post. Oh, there's Kingman, Nate, and Yulon. That's so dope. Hi, Trax. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good today. No, we are chopping heads. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. That's so cute. I really like it. I will repost it once we're done with this tier making. So Charles V the Wise. I did not pick his statue for that. Let me check which one was it. Okay, it's this one. So his reign was marked with internal struggle against feudal lords. We're starting well. We're starting well. Do we get cake as well if we shove it? Cookies. Things that you do. What I missed? Not much. My voice is breaking. This is great. Okay. So Charles V, called the Wise. I don't know if he's that wise though. First Dauphin of the French royal house. I don't know why they called it Dauphin, because it literally means dolphin. And you and I both all know that I dislike dolphins. They're terrifying. I do not like them for many reasons. Like the fact that they will literally essay lonely females in groups, and that they get high on pufferfish toxins. Dolphins are terrifying. Let's see. Charles was crowned first Queen of France in 1364. I'm dying. Dolphin is not wise for sure. We can agree on that. Dolphins are terrifying. The asthma is coming back. It's not. I'm just choking. I think it's mucus. Joan of Bourbon, marriage to Joan of Bourbon. War resumes after the Castilian campaign. The Black Prince was invalid and heavily in debt. Great! His rule in Gascony became increasingly autocratic. Nobles from Gascony petitioned Charles for aid, and when the Black Prince refused to answer a summons to Paris to answer the charges, Charles judged him disloyal and declared war. Instead of seeking a major battle, as his predecessor had done, Charles chose a strategy of attrition, spreading the fighting at every point possible. The French and Castilian navies destroyed an English fleet at La Rochelle in 1372. Whoops. Then Duke launched destructive raids against the coast of England. There's a whole thing between England and France. Siege and pitched battles, we crushed Robert Knowles at the Battle of Pont-Valin. Death in the consolidation of Normandy. Peace negotiation with the English continued unsuccessfully. Boo! The taxes he had levied to support his wars against the English caused deep dissatisfaction amongst the working classes. Uh-oh! So the king's left arm dried up in early 1380 and Charles prepared to die. Ew! Ew! That's kind of metal for death. It's kind of ooh. I heard working class GG. Yeah, they were unhappy. On his deathbed, perhaps fearful for his soul, Charles announced the abolition of the earth tax, the foundation of the government's finances. The ordinance would have been impossible to carry out, but its terms were known, and the government's refusal to reduce any of the other taxes on the people sparked the Maillotine revolt in 1381. The king died on 16th September 1380 and was succeeded by his 11-year-old son, Charles VI. This dude is mid deserves a C as a ranking. I swear I won't die mystic, don't you worry. Also, hi Noah, and hi again Nate. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good today, or tonight, I should say, because it's not day. But yeah, Charles V was absolutely mad. Now Charles VI, the beloved, the mad, the beloved. Le bien-aimé. Okay, they started with le bien-aimé, the beloved, and then later the mad, le fou. Oh, that's gonna be funny. So, random French with accent, absolutely. Le bien-aimé. Beloved and man, strong part right there. Yeah, it's starting strong. I agree with you, Mystic. Always good hearing that in your stream. It's like ASMR. Thank you, Trax. I'm glad you like it. Okay. Let's see. Charles ended the throne at age 11, his father leaving behind a favorable military situation marked by the reconquest of most of the English possessions in France. First placed under the regency of his uncles, the Dukes of Burgundy, Charles decided in 1388, age 20, to emancipate himself, which makes sense. Okay, I'm going to go to be... I got a doctor's appointment. Have a good stream. Good luck with your appointment. Take care, Nate. See you later. Bye-bye. In 1392, while leading a military expedition against the Duchy of Brittany, the king has his first attack of delirium. Let's go! Also, Faye, how are you not doing this stream with your thicker French accent? That's a good question. I guess I'm used to not using my French accent. Like, I've been speaking this way for so long that that now it's like kind of set in stone, and sometimes like I have a hard time like correcting my pronunciations of words, which can be annoying. John Tendon, welcome. Hope you're doing good. Thank you for joining. He was delusional just like me, for real, for real. You know what? Delulu is the Solulu, as we say, Mystic. So first, delirium, during which he attacked his own men in the forest of Le Mans. A few months later, following the Bal des Ardents, when he narrowly escaped death from burning, what? Charles was again placed under the regency of his uncles, the Dukes of Berry and Burgundy. Wow. From then on and until his death, Charles alternated between periods of mental instability and lucidity. Power was held by his influential uncles and by his wife, Queen Isabeau of Bavaria. His younger brother, Louis I, Duke of Orleans, also aspired to the regency and saw his influence grow. The enmity between Orleans and John the Fearless, successor of Philip the Bold as Duke of Burgundy, plunged France into the Armagnac-Burgundian Civil War, during which the king found himself successively controlled by one or the other of the two parties. Bro, I know where this one is gonna end. In 1415, Charles' army was crushed by the English at the Battle of Agincourt. The king subsequently signed the Treaty of Troyes, which entirely disinherited his son, the Dauphin and future Charles VII, in favor of his future son-in-law, Henry V of England. I'm gonna stop here. This dude goes into the guillotine rank. Guillotine rank. He was the first Vtuber fan. Yeah, I guess so. Guillotine rank. Immediately. Mad lad. Delirium. Sold out to the English, off with his head. For real. For real. Not in this type of context, man. No. I'm gonna stop here. Bro did not make his mind. And he signed the Treaty of Troyes that disinherited his own son. What? Yeah, guillotine. Then we have Henry VI, but I'm skipping him because he was like asking for the throne and it was disputed. And then we have Charles VII. So the victorious, the well-served. Bro, your dad. Mm-mm. He looks super scary in his portrait. You haven't gotten to the best part yet. He was afraid of sitting because he thought his butt was made of glass. It's the delirium. It's the delirium. Oh no. I'm cackling. I cannot sit on the throne and my butt is gonna break. Oh. I wonder if you had like something that triggered him into thinking so, because that's insane. That's absolutely insane. So Charles VII, called the victorious or well-served. During the 100 Years' War, Charles VII inherited the throne of France under disparate circumstances. Forces of the Kingdom of England and the Duke of Burgundy occupied Guyenne and northern France, including Paris, damn, the capital and most populous city, and Reims, the city of Champagne, in which French kings were traditionally crowned. Oh. With his scooter moved to Bourges, also the Loire River, Charles was disdainfully called the King of Bourges. Live at Bliss, welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good. Hi. However, his political and military position improved dramatically with the emergence of the best girl, Joan of Arc, as a spiritual leader in France. Joan and Jean de Dunois led French troops to leave the siege of Orleans and other strategic cities on the Loire River and to crush the English at the Battle of Patay. With the local English dispersed, the people of Reims switched allegiance and opened their gates, which enabled the coronation of Charles VII at Reims Cathedral. New to this, what exactly is this? Just wondering. So, welcome to Analive. This is an app made for VTubers like me to stream. If you are a VTuber with a model, you can also apply to stream on here. For another, like very few people. Most of them are my gen mates. So if you see other people live, they're most likely in the same agency as mine. My name is Faelie Fallwood. Nice to meet you. And I'm a VTuber for Nexas. And thank you for liking the stream. Thank you so much. So yeah, this is basically a streaming app for VTubers. Dying, choking. Our French nobility as inbred as the English nobility. Also, hi Red, hope you're doing good today or tonight. Yes. It's a lot of inbred stuff. It's the same thing. As long as as long as they're nobles, they don't really care. I guess that sisters and brothers are a no, but cousins are okay apparently. Why are all the weird kings named Charles? I would not know. I don't know if Charles is like now universally weird name to have. I doubt so, but still. It's true that the weird ones are named Charles. As long as there's not as bad as the Austrian, then we're good, Red. Wait, how bad is it with Austria? Because I've never actually checked it out, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like the same. Like there's a whole history of like keeping the blood quote unquote pure when with weird beliefs because now you know that it's the worst thing genetically. Maybe that's why Charles VI had delirium. You gotta see the Habsburg. Okay, let me actually Google this. Oh my god. There is no way. Centuries of inbreeding to blame to blame for the Habsburg child. Giga Chad. Giga Chad. Immediately. You should see some of their royal portraits. Some of them are crazy. Also, Shiroyuki, welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good. That's the face of the Giga Chads right here. An unknown ghost, welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good. Damn, I never had seen these portraits. Thank you for sharing this with me. Monarchy is just professional inbreeding. I can agree with you on that. What's with the long faces? That's exactly that's exactly that. I could play the and I will do it for you, Kirby. But it's not the nose, it's the jaw. I'm doing good, Red. How are you doing? That man became another life form for real. Reaching for your Pringles with with the chin. I have the image. I'm dying. Okay. SCP officer, welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good today. Hi. And Shadow, welcome. Thank you for joining as well. Hope you're doing good. Okay, so he got coronated. 6 years later, he ended the English-Burgundian alliances by signing the Treaty of Arras with Burgundy, followed by the recovery of Paris. Ah, that's a W. Using a newly organized professional army and advanced siege cannons. Following the Battle of Castillon, the French expelled the English from all their continent, except the Pile of Calais. Oh my god! He saved his honor after his father was like completely insane. I'm gonna put him in A. But I still wanna notify that on his portrait, he kind of looks like Voldemort if he had a nose. Thank you for liking the stream, by the way, Shadow, SCP officer. I just realized I'm still in my armor for my job. You need to remove it. I hope the work was easy on you. Repeatedly baffle Christendom by continuing to live. Kick the English off of the okay, fine, okay. S it is then. S it is then. S it is. I agree with you. Maybe I should not put my standards that high. We're talking about like French monarchy. I'm gonna be disappointed a lot more than I'm going to be proud. It was not there. Was at least 2 or 1 security breaches today. Uh-oh. I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, I literally have to be prepared to be most likely disappointed than proud of the kings. But Joan of Arc, I wonder if he's the one that actually like asked for her to be executed. Let me give me a second, actually. I wanna check. Let me check. Death. I'm looking for the death. Trials and execution. Heresy. She was accused of having blasphemed by wearing men's clothes. But she kind of saved your asses, guys. Acting upon visions that were demonic. And refusing to submit her words and deeds to the church because she claimed she would be judged by God alone. So who judged? Cochon. The fact his name is written the same way as we write, like almost the same way as we write pig, makes suddenly so much sense. Yeah, we skipped Henry VI because he disputed the throne for 31 years. So I skipped everyone's that, you know, had like the disputed thing. I see. Sikam, welcome. Thank you for joining. Cochon. By the way, who the frick is that? Okay, so I'm not removing a rank from Charles VII because he did not judge Joan of Arc. During the trial, Joan showed great control. She induced her interrogators to ask questions sequentially rather than simultaneously, refer back to their records when appropriate, and end the sessions when she requested. Bro, that was such a W. Leave him at S. Leave him at S. I was like, should I? If he was responsible for Joan of Arc's death, I would have like removed the rank, but he was not. Surgery Sweets, welcome. Thank you for joining. How are you doing? How did it feel when you fell from heaven, you angel? Well, it hurts certainly. Thank you, Surgery Sweets. That's very nice of you. Okay. Then we have Louis 11. Riz Cox shotgun. Put the shotgun down, Lone Wolf. Put it down. 15 yards away from my home. You guys are so cute. I love you. I love you guys. Okay. Louis the Prudent. The Prudent was king of France from 1461 to 1483. So his father is Charles VII. Entered into open rebellion against his father in a short-lived revolt known as the Priory. He's already losing points. Why would you do that? Why would you do that, bro? Your father was the best so far. Don't move, I got a bottom that if I press it, I will send another atom bomb to Japan. No, please don't do that. No bombs. Maybe flower bombs, but that's it. Bombs that make flowers fly around, you know? Lone, why are you barking? Okay. The king forgave his rebellious vassals, including Louis, to whom he instructed the management of the Dauphiné, the province in southeastern France. Okay. Louis' ceaseless intrigues, however, led his father to banish him from court. Bruh. From Dauphiné revealed his own political establishment and married Charlotte of Savoy, daughter of Louis, Duke of Savoy, against the will of his father. So he wanted to be annoying. He wanted to be a brat. Is what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing that this dude wanted to be a brat. Oh, just I wouldn't have had the patience. I think that just because he was the son of Charles VII, Charles VII did not execute him, because I would have. I would have. Yo! Charles VII sent an army to compel his son to his will, but Louis fled to Burgundy, where he was hosted by Philip the Good, the Duke of Burgundy, Charles' greatest enemy. I think I'm going to stop there. This man is immediate guillotine. How dare you go against the will of your father that is an S rank? Huh? How would you dare do that? Bro. I'm not even like questioning it. I'm not even going to dig deeper. The Universal Spider is his other title. Okay, Charles 8. The Affable was king of France from 1483 to 1498. Not that long actually. 14 years? Okay. Kill. Kill! Absolutely. I gotta protect this mass. What else? We are homies after all. We are homies. Okay, his elder sister Anne acted as regent jointly with her husband Peter II, Duke of Bourbon, until 1491, when the young king turned 21 years of age. During Anne's regency, the Great Lords rebelled against royal centralization and forged a conflict known as the Mad War. Woohoo! Which resulted in victory from the royal government. In a remarkable stroke of audacity, Charles married Anne of Brittany in 1491 after she had already been married by proxy to the Habsburg royalty. The Habsburg Holy Roman Emperor Maximilian the First in a ceremony of questionable validity. Apple fell far from the tree. Yeah, it's not that it fell far from the tree, it's that I feel like it got propelled out of the tree so far it landed in a lake. Like there's some bird that jumped on a branch and catapulted it. It's that bad. Cock the Habsburg CW. Yep, yep. It appears so. Persecuted a problematic succession in the Kingdom of Hungary. Maximilian failed to press his claim. Upon his marriage, Charles became administrator of Brittany and established a personal union that enabled France to avoid the total encirclement by Habsburg territories. W. To secure his right to the Neapolitan throne that René of Anjou had left to his father, Charles made a series of concessions to the neighboring monarchs and, due to his revolutionary artillery, conquered the Italian peninsula without much opposition. A coalition formed against the French invasion for 4 years, starting 1494, attempted to stop Charles' army at Fort Novo, but failed, and Charles marched his army back to France. Charles died in 1498 after accidentally striking his head on the lintel of a door at the chateau. I'm so sorry, I'm cackling. So, the lintel is a type of beam that spawns openings such as portals, doors, windows, and fireplaces. It can be decorative architectural elements or combined ornamented structural item. Oh. Misty did teach you about European history in kangaroo school. Marched on the Italian successfully. W. Died by smacking his head on the door. The fact he died this way is so hilarious to me. No, just many hours on U4 Red. Gotcha. The fact he died by hitting his head against a door. Since he had no male heir, he was succeeded by his second cousins, once removed, and brother-in-law at the time. Wait. Second cousin and brother-in-law? See? Inbred. 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 Bread. Louis XII from the Orleans cadet branch of the House of Valois. Okay. Honestly, he's overall a W, but then the way he died. Yeah, inbred, absolutely. Exactly written like that. Waifus. He's still an A. He's not an S because he died hitting his head against the door. Oh, B for bad luck. I would have put it in B, but I feel like he did a lot of things that make him like deserve the A rank. He just died a stupid way, a very stupid way. Okay, now we have Louis XII, King of France from 1498 to 1515. King of Naples? Oh, that's interesting. The son of Charles, Duke of Orleans, and Marie of Clèves. Succeeded second cousin, once removed, and brother-in-law, who died childless. Kiliwa, welcome. Thank you for joining. You're doing good tonight. For the succession to the throne, he was known as Louis of Orleans. Wow, and was compelled to be married to his disabled and supposedly sterile cousin Joan by his second cousin, King Louis XI. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Hi. Maybe they're made of glass if a doorknob. Maybe one thought his butt was made of glass, and the other one was actually fully made of glass. Don't. Okay, so we're starting off strong. He was compelled to be married to his disabled and supposedly sterile cousin Joan by his second cousin, King Louis XI. By doing so, Louis XI hoped to extinguish the Orleans cadet branch of the House of Valois. Damn. Just damn. You know what? I'm so glad I put Louis XI in the guillotine category. Me and my homies hate chromosomes. Da-da-dum. When Louis XII became king in 1498, he had his marriage with Joan annulled by Pope Alexander VI, by the Pope, and instead married Anne, Duchess of Brittany, the widow of Charles VIII. Wait a damn minute. Wait a damn minute. He married his cousin's wife? He married his widowed cousin's wife. Okay then. This marriage allowed Louis to reinforce the personal union of Brittany and France. Louis of Orleans was one of the great feudal lords who opposed the French monarchy in the conflict known as the Mat War. As the royal victory of the Battle of Saint-Aubin du Cormier in 1488, Louis was captured, but Charles VIII spurred on him and released him. He subsequently took part in the Italian Wars, initiating a second Italian campaign for the control of the Kingdom of Naples. Louis conquered the Duchy of Milan in the 1500s and pushed forward to the Kingdom of Naples, which fell to him in a year. Proclaimed King of Naples, Louis faced a new coalition gathered by Ferdinand II of Aragon, and was forced to cede Naples to Spain in 1504. L. That's L. Louis remained Duke of Milan after the Second Italian War, was interested in further expansion in the Italian peninsula, and launched the Third Italian War, which was marked by the military prowess of the Chevalier de Bayard. Let's go. Speaking of the Chevalier de Bayard, so Knight of Bayard, kind of has the same hair as Lord Farquaad, which is kind of weird to witness. Yep, that sure does sound like a monarch move. Absolutely. Louis XII did not encroach of the power of local governments or the privilege of nobility, in opposition with the long tradition of the French kings to attempt to impose absolute monarchy in France. A popular king, Louis was proclaimed father of the people for his reduction of the tax known as taille, legal reforms, and civil peace within France. W. He died in 1515 without a male heir. Again, he was succeeded by his cousin and son-in-law. I'm sorry, what? Cousin and son-in-law? So, I'm guessing Charles VIII son? Oh my god, my brain. Oh, my brain. Francis I from the Angoulême Cadet branch of the House of Valois. Hashtag just aristocratic things. Wait. I mean, it's cousin and the son-in-law. So I'm guessing it's like Charles VIII's son, right? My brain. What? Well, okay. So Louis 12 is not bad. This shit is really hard to keep track of. I agree with you, Red. Like cousin, son-in-law, cousin, and whatever. That's kind of hard to follow. Um, I think he did good things, so I'm gonna put him in A. He's an A. Okay. Then we have Francis the First, one of the well-known kings. 1515 until his death in 1547. Son of Charles, Count of Angoulême and Louise of Savoy, he succeeded his first cousin, once removed, and father-in-law. His first cousin and father-in-law. I'm tripping. I'm tripping every time I read that. Who died without a legitimate son. A prodigious patron of the arts, he promoted the emergent French Renaissance by attracting many Italian artists to work with him, including Leonardo da Vinci. Little fun fact about me. I would say one of the artists I admire the most would be Leonardo da Vinci. For multiple reasons. One being the fact that he would be able to draw an autoportrait with ink and like never like freak up a line. Like he had such knowledge in the arts that he could draw with something that was not able to, like he was not able to erase. That's how cool he was. Also, he was an engineer and basically all about progress. So it's a W. Leonardo da Vinci, who brought the Mona Lisa, which Francis had acquired. W. Francis reign saw important cultural changes with the growth of central power in France. Huge dub. Leonardo da Vinci. It's a huge W, yes. Important cultural changes with the growth of central power, the spread of humanism and Protestantism, and the beginning of French exploration of the New World. Jacques Cartier and others claimed lands of the Americas for France and paved the way for the expansions of the first French colonial empire. So from what I've heard from history is that most of America actually belonged to France until the British decided to fight. So Francis the First did pretty cool stuff so far. For his role in the development and promotion of the French language, he became known as le père et restaurateur des lettres, the father and restorer of letters. He was also known as François au Grand Nez, Francis of the Large Nose, the Grand Colossus, and the Roi Chevalier, the Night King. Honestly, dope titles. In keeping with his predecessors, Francis continued the Italian Wars, the succession of his great rival Emperor Charles V to the Habsburg Netherlands and the throne of Spain, followed by his election as Holy Roman Emperor, led to France being geographically encircled by the Habsburg monarchy. In a struggle against imperial hegemony, Francis sought the support of Henry VIII of England at the Field of the Cloth of Gold. When this was unsuccessful, he formed a Franco-Ottoman alliance with the Muslim Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, a controversial move for a Christian king at the time. I think it was pretty smart. That in France would sell a bunch of it off to other countries. Imagine if America was speaking French. That would be strange. Allying with the Ottomans, don't know if that's W or L. Well, you know that the Ottomans were great at war, so I say it's a good move. I think it would be a good move. I personally think that it would be a good move. Like, there's worse move. But if the Ottoman Empire decides to absolutely destroy France, well, we're fricked. We're fricked. Icy Travel, welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good today. I think it's pretty interesting. Okay. So Francis the First is going to be a B rank because he let France being surrounded by the Habsburg monarchy. That's a dangerous situation to end up with. But the rest was pretty cool. So, in my opinion, he did good. Next is Henry II. François Ier, Henri II. Yeah, we're getting to the well-known kings. Very well-known kings. From 1547 until his death in 1559. Best kings. I don't know if they're the best kings. But Francis I clearly made progress when it comes to France, so it's pretty cool. Second son of Francis I and Duchess Claude of Brittany, he became Dauphin of France upon the death of his elder brother Francis. Wait, my brain. Okay, so... Oh, that's weird. Wait. I'm checking something because my brain is like, Francis III was Dauphin of France, and after 1524, Duke of Brittany. This is his brother, and who were exchanged as hostage for their father, Francis I, who had been captured at the Battle of Pavia. They would be hostages for 3 years. Okay, kind of strange. Okay, so as a child, Henry and his elder brother spent over 4 years in captivity in Spain as hostages in exchange for their father. Henry pursued his father's policies in matters of art, war, and religion. He persevered in the Italian wars against the Habsburgs and tried to suppress the Reformation, even as the Huguenot numbers were increasing drastically in France during his reign. He was the older brother, but not the king. Yeah, that's why I was checking it out. But it turns out he became a duke instead. Habsburg was using the waifu meta. They were too strong. Waifu meta is best meta. Yeah, I was confused as well. Like, French monarchy in itself is pretty confusing, not gonna lie. But monarchy in general is pretty confusing, not gonna lie. Like, if you actually look at the genealogic trees, you're tripping. You're tripping. You're like, what is going on? What is going on? Okay. What else? Under the April 1559 Peace of Cateau Cambrésis, which ended the Italian Wars, France renounced its claims in Italy, but gained certain other territories, including the Pale of Calais. I'm guessing it's the Pas-de-Calais now. Yeah. And the 3 bishoprics. Metz, Verdun, and Toul. Okay. January 1556, an division of his empire between Spain and Austria provided them with greater flexibility in foreign policy. Nostradamus also served King Harry as physician and astrologers. That's pretty cool. Michel de Notre Dame. Was a French astrologer, apothecary, physician, and reputed seer who is best known for his book Les Prophéties, a collection of 942 poetic quatrains, allegedly predicting future events. I am extremely curious about this. Might get the book just to see if it was right. Hi again, Kilua. In June 1559, Harry was injured in a jousting tournament held to celebrate the treaty and died 10 days later after his surgeon, Ambroise Paré, was unable to cure the wound inflicted by Gabriel de Montgomery, the captain of his Scottish Guard. Welp. Though it died early, the succession appeared secure, for he left 4 young sons, as well as a widow, Catherine de Medici. Oh! To lead a capable regency during their minority. 3 of the sons lived long enough to become king, but their ineffectual reigns and the unpopularity of Catherine regency helped to spark the French wars of religion between Catholic and Protestants, and an eventual end of the House of Valois, France's ruling dynasty. Uh-oh. Died after a friendly joust. L, absolutely. Shacking up with the Medicis. W. Yes. Yeah. So Henry II. Where we put him? Died after a friendly joust, but still. And then again, like the religious war started in France because he died. Pinky Love, welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put him in mid. C, mid. He's mid. Mid. Let me reorganize this real quick. Read the third. Yeah. Okay. So next up, next up would be Francis II. How old? Because I only see a portrait of him as a kid, but how old was he? François II was king of France from 1559 to 1560, king of Scotland, and the husband of Mary, Queen of Scots. That's very interesting as well. I do not like his smug portrait. It's or mocks me. It's staring at you, and it's like you're not good enough. Staring and saying you're not good enough. So he was married of Mary, Queen of Scots. That's pretty interesting, in my opinion. He ascended the throne of France at age 15 after the accidental death of his father, Henry II, in 1559. His short reign was dominated by the first stirrings of the French Wars of Religion. Although the royal age of majority was 14, his mother, Catherine de Medici, entrusted the reins of the government to his wife Mary's uncles from the House of Guise, staunch supporter of the Catholic cause. They were unable to help Catholics in Scotland against the progressing Scottish Reformation, however, and the Old Alliance was dissolved. The Old Alliance was an alliance between the kingdoms of Scotland and France against England, men in 1295. The Scots word "old," meaning old, has become a partly affectionate term for the long-lasting association between the two countries. After dying of an ear infection, Francis was succeeded by two of his brothers in turn, both of whom were also unable to reduce tensions between Protestants and Catholics. Dying of an ear infection. That's... I wonder what kind of infection that was, though. For it to be a cause of death? Ineffectual child puppet king, bleh. Basically. When they're children, usually they can, like, literally use them to have, like, anything they want passes the law. And he died of an ear infection. He was a child, but can I really put him in E just because he was a child and a puppet? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Whoop. Then we have Charles IX. Charles Maximilien. 14 years. He ascended the French throne upon the death of his brother Francis XI, who reigned for a year. And as such was the penultimate monarch of the House of Valois. Charles' reign saw the culmination of decades of tension between Protestants and Catholics. Civil and religious war broke out between the two parties after the massacre of Bastille in 1562. In 1572, following several unsuccessful attempts at brokering peace, Charles arranged the marriage of his sister Margaret to Henry of Navarre, a major Protestant nobleman in the line of succession to the French throne, in a last desperate bid to reconcile his people. Facing popular hostility against his policy of appeasement and at the instigation of his mother, Catherine de Medici, Charles oversaw the massacre of numerous Huguenot leaders who gathered in Paris for the royal wedding, though his direct involvement is still debated. This event, known as the Saint Bartholomew Days Massacre, was a significant blow to the Huguenot movement, and religious civil warfare soon began anew. Charles sought to take advantage of the disarray of the Huguenots by ordering the siege of La Rochelle, but was unable to take the Protestant stronghold. Many of Charles' decisions were influenced by his mother, a fervent Roman Catholic, who initially supported a policy of relative religious tolerance. After the events of the Saint Bartholomew's Days massacre, he began to support this persecution of Huguenots. However, it instead haunted Charles for the rest of his life, and historians suspect that it caused his physical and mental health to deteriorate over the next 2 years. Charles died of tuberculosis in 1574 without legitimate male issue, and was succeeded by his brother Henry III, whose own death in 1589 without issue allowed for the ascension of Henry of Navarre to the French throne as Henry IV, establishing the House of Bourbon as the new French royal dynasty. That's a big L. I was gonna say we don't need no pity ratings here. He was probably would have been a shithead anyway. Probably. And this next one is not that much better. I think he was listening to his mother too much. Also, died of tuberculosis, and his mental health made his physical health go not strong enough. Not strong enough. I would have thought that most monarchs in that time would have been very desensitized to death. Most people in that time would have been very desensitized to death, as it was like a common occurrence. Like, I don't know if you guys like played Horizon Zero Dawn. When the main character is like a child, you see that she sees someone that is dead but is not like completely scared by it. And I think I would think it's like that. I would think it would have been like that back then. Kingman, hi, and Panda Burrito Guy, hi. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good. Tonight we're rating French kings. Kingman, and I know you like history. Maybe we'll have fun on this one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 kings to raid still. Well, monarchs, because they're not all kings. I know there's like Napoleon in there. My brain go brr. Don't know much French, but I'll try. Don't worry, I will read it in any case. Let me see. So Henry III. Henry III, Alexandre Edouard. Absolutely not the same name. Was king of France from 1574 until his assassination in 1589. You heard that. Assassination. Necro, hi! Thank you for liking the stream. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. How far are the rankings? We go from S to E, and the lowest rank is guillotine. Guillotine is like, no. It's an absolute no. You're lower than E. So Henry III, as the fourth son of King Henry II of France, he was not expected to inherit the French throne, and thus was a good candidate for the vacant throne of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, where he was elected monarch in 1573. During his brief rule, he signed the Hessian Articles into law, recognizing the Schlatzas' right to freely elect their monarch. Democracy! Hey! Like, how many king got rank? Are we chronological? Yes, we are chronological, but we started with the House of Valois, which starts in the 1300s. And so far, we ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 kings. And we still have like 11 to go, I believe. Okay. Age 22, Henry abandoned Poland, Lithuania upon inheriting the French throne when his brother Charles IX died without issue. France was at the time plagued by the wars of religion, and Henry's authority was undermined by violent political factions funded by foreign powers: the Catholic League, supported by Spain and the Pope; the Protestant Huguenots, supported by England and the Dutch; and the malcontents, led by Henry's own brother, the Duke of Anjou, and Alençon, a party of Catholic and Protestant aristocrats who jointly opposed the absolutist ambitions of the king. Did Henry III do any good? We're gonna see that real quick. Henry III was himself a politique, arguing that a strong and decentralized yet religiously tolerant monarchy would have saved France from collapse. After the death of Henry's younger brother Francis, Duke of Anjou, and when it became apparent that Henry would not produce an heir, the wars of religion developed into a succession crisis, the War of Three Henrys. Henry III's closest heir was his distant cousin, King Henry III of Navarre, a Protestant. The Catholic League, led by Henry I, Duke of Guise, sought to exclude a Protestant from the succession and championed the Catholic Charles, Cardinal of Bourbon, as Henry III's heir. Henry had the Duke of Guise murdered in 1588. And was in turn assassinated by Jacques Clément, a Catholic fanatic, in the 1589. He was succeeded by the King of Navarre, who, as Henry IV, assumed the throne of France as the first king of the House of Bourbon and eventually converted to Catholicism. Or did I miss the Charles IX rating? Yes, you did. It's an E. It's an E. Charles IX is an E. It's my bad. Maybe I did not say that out loud. Man got the throne of the PLC and turned them back to democracy. I don't know, sounds like an L to me. Yeah. he was a politique, like he says. So I think I like his intentions, but the fact that he tried, like, he got someone assassinated and then got assassinated is a double L. And then he was the last one of his house of Valois. And then House of Bourbon took place. So Henry III, I will place I think I will also place an E because bruh. C, no. Like you have S, A, B, C, D, E, and guillotine rank. Guillotine is like, no. I don't want to hear about you. I don't want to hear about you anymore. So overall, yes, Henry III could have been better. Could have been so much better. He had potential. He ruined it. Then we have Charles X that we're not gonna do because he was disputing the the throne for like 9 months. And then we have Henry IV. So House of Bourbon. Henri IV. Very known, very well known. Also known by the epithets Good King Harry or Henry the Great, was King of Navarre as Henry III from 1572 and King of France from 1589 to 1610. Hey, that's not too bad. 20 years, that's not too bad. Good start. He was the first monarch of France from the House of Bourbon, a cattle branch of the Capetian dynasty. He pragmatically balanced the interests of the Catholic and Protestant parties in France as well as among the European states. One that finally succeeded in that. Let's go. He was assassinated in 1610 by a Catholic zealot and was succeeded by his son Louis XIII. He was assassinated. He's Henry the Great, not Henry the Mid. I agree. That would make sense. He got assassinated again. Assassinated by another Catholic zealot. Absolutely. Oh. But then 20 years is still a good score as a king. Damn it, Baku was busy back then. Yeah, Bakura was very busy back then. But I don't think Baku is a Catholic zealot. I just think he's an assassin. Maybe a far away ancestor. Maybe that's it, a far away ancestor. Henry was baptized Catholic but raised in the Protestant faith by his mother. He inherited the throne of Navarre in 1572 on his mother's death, and as a Huguenot Protestant, Henry was involved in the French War of Religion, while escaping assassination in the Saint Bartholomew's Days massacre. Hey yo! He survived the assassination! That's crazy. Also, hi Feisty! Welcome, how are you doing? He later led Protestant forces against the French royal army. Henry inherited the throne of France in 1589 upon the death of Henry III. Henry IV initially kept the Protestant faith, the only French king to do so, and had to fight against the Catholic League, which refused to accept a Protestant monarch. After 4 years of military stalemate, Henry converted to Catholicism, reportedly saying Paris is well worth a mess. As a pragmatic politician, he promulgated the Edict of Nantes, granted the minority Calvinist Protestants of France, also known as Huguenots, substantial rights in the nation, which was predominantly Catholic, which guaranteed religious liberty to Protestants, thereby effectively ending the French Wars of Religion. He survived assassination until he didn't. Yes, but still, 20 years of reign. 20 years of reign. Frenchies love to be assassinated, doesn't it? Either that or they died. One of them died by hitting his head on a door. One of them died by hitting his head on a door. So yeah. Bend the knee to the Catholic, shaking my head. But at least he brought peace. So that's something. Gave him the Duke. What else? An active ruler, Henry worked to regularize state finance, promote agriculture, eliminate corruption, and encourage education. W. He began the first successful French colonization of the Americas. He promoted trade and industry, W, and prioritized the construct of roads, bridges, and canals to facilitate communication within France and strengthen the country's cohesion, W. These efforts stimulated economic growth and improved living standards. Ayo! So far, so good. While the Edict of Nantes brought religion's peace to France, some hardline Catholics and Huguenots remained dissatisfied. Before also faced resistance from certain noble factions who opposed his centralization policies, leading to political instability. But it's not really his fault. To me, it's not really his fault. He just had people that were mad. He just had haters. He had antis, you know. His main foreign policy success was the Peace of Vervins in 1598, which made peace in the long-running conflict with Spain, formed a strategic alliance with England, and also forged alliance with Protestant states such as the Dutch Republic and several German states to counter the Catholic powers. His policies contributed to the stability and prominence of France in European affairs. That's a W. Good old haters. Jealous or alienation of others equals death. Yeah, it's basically what happens most of the time. But overall, his reign is pretty dope. 20 years of reigns, and he made sure that France was prosperous. So that's a good king. That's a good king. I think we needed to change. I think he's gonna go in the S category, even if he died assassinated. I think it's an S category. He thought of good things. He thought of making roads, bridges, and canals. Promoted trade and industry. Promote agriculture, regularize state finance, eliminate corruption, and encourage education. Those are all good things. This is how France, I believe, made its way to becoming the country of lights, and Paris the city of lights. Les Lumières, you know. The good king, the great. Yeah. I think it suits him. Then we have our good friend Louis XIII. I'm just gonna organize my images because they're a bit chaotic right now. Okay. So Louis XIII. The fact that Wikipedia is like for the cognac, see Louis XIII cognac. So there's a brand of cognac called Louis XIII that I didn't even know existed. Apparently, I wonder why. I wonder if there's like any reason as to why they would make a cognac brand around this name. So Louis XIII, sometimes called the Just, was king of France from 1610 until his death in 1643, and king of Navarre as Louis II from 1610 to 1620, when the crown of Navarre was merged with the French crown. Louis sounds French, I guess that's why they put them. I mean, maybe it's a French brand. Yeah. Yeah, it's a French brand. I just checked. Type cognac, manufacturer Rémy Martin, French, distributor Rémy Cointreau, French, country of origin, France, region of origin, Grande Champagne. It's a French brand. We'll look into that later. Shortly before his 9th birthday, Louis became king of France and Navarre after his father, Henry IV, was assassinated. His mother, Marie de Médicis, acted as regent during his minority. Mismanagement of the kingdom and ceaseless political intrigues by Mary and her Italian favorites led the young king to take power in 1617 by exiling his mother and executing her followers. Damn, including Concino Concini. That's a funny name, Concino Concini. The most influential Italian at the French court. Bro got executed. What a great start, taking power. Bro came in, sat down, and was like, okay, so mother, you're gonna leave, and I'm gonna kill all your friends. That's basically what he said. Hello, Hendra, welcome. How are you doing? Someone go get his reboot card. Mom, you're leaving, and I'm killing your friends. Bye. That's basically what happened. Louis XIII, taciturn and suspicious, relied heavily on his chief ministers, first Charles d'Albert, Duc de Luynes, and then Cardinal Richelieu, to govern the Kingdom of France. The king and the cardinal are remembered for establishing the Académie Française. Bruh. I'm not going to talk about this, but the Académie Française is like, now it's not the same thing. And ending the revolt of the French nobility. The system that destroyed the castles of defiant lords. le juste, the just, they say, annihilates anyone that gets in the way. Back, my battery got guillotined. Welcome back, Stuffed Crust. I feel you, don't worry. Don't worry about it. And denounced the use of private violence, dueling, carrying weapons, and maintaining private armies. By the end of the 1620s, Richelieu had established the royal monopoly of force as the ruling doctrine. The king's reign was also marked by the struggles against the Huguenots and Habsburg Spain. Bro was made to crush people. Bro crushed people his whole reign. It's kind of metal. It's kind of metal. Just for that, I kind of want to put him in S. Yeah, I'm putting him in S. Like S. S rank. And that's how crushing balls became a thing. Okay, you know what? Don't jump in front of Truck Coon. Crushing castles. Absolutely obliterating anybody that gets in the way. Anybody that gets in the way. Deal. And then we have Louis XIV, the Great, the Sun King. He's one of the most well-known. His name is Louis Dieudonné. That's interesting. Also known as Louis the Great, Louis le Grand, or the Sun King, le Roi Soleil. Was this around the time of the Musketeers books now? Oh, let me tell you right now. It's right before that. So I would say it happens during the reign of Louis XIII. Because it's set between 1625 and 1628. Louis XIV becomes king, I believe, 1638. 1643, actually. 1643, my bad. So yeah, it was during Louis 13. Also, was king of France from 1643 until his death in 1715. His verified reign of 72 years and 110 days is the longest of any sovereign. So he's winning points already. As for smash everything that's happening, yes. Everything that is going against you, you smash. The literal way, not the weird way. Okay? Not the weird way. 72 years as king. Jesus. Although Louis XIV's France was emblematic of the age of absolutism in Europe, the king surrounded himself with a variety of significant political, military, and cultural figures such as Bossuet, Colbert, Louvois, Lebrun, Le Nôtre, Lully, Mazarin, Molière, Racine, Turenne, Condé, and Vauban. Louis began his personal rule of France in 1661 after the death of his chief minister, Cardinal Mazarin, when the king famously declared that he would take over the job himself. Damn. So that's pretty cool already. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna delegate. I'm gonna do it myself. An adherent of the divine right of kings, Louis continued his predecessor's work of creating a centralized state governed from the capital. He sought to eliminate the remnants of feudalism persisting in parts of France by compelling many members of the nobility to reside at his lavish palace of Versailles. He succeeded in pacifying the aristocracy, many of whom had participated in the Fronde rebellions during his minority. Pretty cool. He thus became one of the most powerful French monarchs and consolidated a system of absolute monarchy in France that endured until the French Revolution. Dum dum dum. Louis also enforced uniformity of religion under the Catholic Church. His revocation of the Edict of Nantes abolished the rights of the Huguenot Protestant minority and subjected them to a wave of dragonnades, which means this involved the billeting of ill-disciplined dragoons in Protestant households. So intimidated the Huguenots' families into converting to Catholicism. Damn. For some reason I imagine it like as Jehovah's Witness. I'm just like imagining it as Jehovah's Witness, where they knock on the doors and they're like, "Do you have time to talk about our Lord Jesus Christ?" And if they're not happy, if they're refused, it's not going to go well. Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Effectively forcing Huguenots to immigrate or convert, virtually destroying the French Protestant community. During Louis's long reign, France emerged as the leading European power and regularly asserted its military strength. More points. A conflict with Spain marked his entire childhood, while during his personal rule, Louis fought 3 major continental conflicts, each against powerful foreign alliances: the Franco-Dutch War, the 9 Years' War, and the War of the Spanish Succession. In addition, France also contested shorter wars such as the War of Devolution and the War of Reunions. Warfare defined Louis' foreign policy, and his personal ambition shaped his approach. Impelled by a mix of commerce, revenge, and pique, he sensed that war was the ideal way to enhance his glory. Another warrior. His wars trained France's resources to the utmost, while in peacetime he concentrated on preparing for the next war. He taught his diplomats that their job was to create tactical and strategic advances for the French military. Upon this, in 1715, Louis XIV left his great-grandson and successor, Louis XV, a powerful kingdom, albeit in major debt after the War of Spanish Succession that had raged on since 1701. It's been a big military day. Significant achievements during Louis XIV's reign, which would go on to have a wide influence on the early modern period, went to the Industrial Revolution, and until today include the construction of the Canal du Midi, the patronage of artists, and the founding of the French Academy of Science. Hey! So that's pretty interesting. That is pretty interesting. Louis XIV, I cannot put you in S. But the charisma is here. The military tactics are here. It's just the depth, basically. So I would say it's the... I would put him in I don't know if I should put him in A or B, because he still left France in debt because of all the wars. For all of the achievements, you know what, I'm gonna put him in A. I think he deserves the spot. Now comes Louis XV, the beloved, another beloved, but didn't go mad, I think. I hope. Okay. Louis XV was known as Louis the Beloved, King of France from 1517 until his death in 1574. He succeeded his great-grandfather Louis XIV at the age of 5. Damn. Until he reached maturity, then defined as his 13th birthday in 1723. The kingdom was ruled by his grand-uncle Philippe II, so Philip II, Duke of Orleans, and as regent of France. Cardinal Fleury was chief minister from 1726 until his death in 1743, at which time the king took sole control of the kingdom. His reign of almost 59 years... Damn! They're following themselves pretty quickly. Was the second longest in the history of France, exceeded only by his predecessor Louis XIV, who had ruled for 72 years, which is insane. In 1748, Louis returned the Austrian Netherlands, won at Battle of Fontenoy of 1745. He cedes New France in North America to Great Britain and Spain at the conclusion of the disastrous 7 Years' Wars in 1763. Bruh. He incorporated the territories of the Duchy of Lorraine and the Corsican Republic into the Kingdom of France. Historians generally criticize his reign, citing how reports of his corruption embarrassed the monarchy, while his wars drained the treasury and produced little gain. However, a minority of scholars argue that he was popular during his lifetime, but that his reputation was later blackened by revolutionary propaganda. His grandson and successor, Louis XVI, inherited a large kingdom in need of financial and political reforms, which would ultimately lead to the French Revolution of 1789. Inbred for longevity. Okay, so I've heard corruption. I've heard ceded New France in North America to Great Britain and Spain because he lost war. Drained the treasury with his wars and basically never won. Brother, how can you suck so bad when you stay literally 50 years on a throne? How is that possible to be that bad of a king. I can't. Yeah. Um, I'm gonna put him in D. D. He managed to stay alive for a while. uh, I can hear my tummy rumbling. I can hear my tummy rumbling, guys. Allegrind said for real. There then comes Louis 16. We're gonna have a lot to say about Louis 16 because you know he ended up managed to not die for 52 years. There's no F for failures. There's just guillotine. Technically, by elimination principle, if I looked at Louis 16 right now, I should put him in the guillotine, the guillotine rank. But I will still read and actually give him a fair ranking. See if he actually deserved the guillotine. Impressive luck. Yeah, right, Andra? Impressive luck when it comes to that. He managed to survive like that long. So, Louis 16, Louis Auguste, was the last king of France before the fall of the monarchy during the French Revolution, the son of Louis, Dauphin of France, and Maria Josepha of Saxony. Louis became the new Dauphin when his father died in 1765. He became king of France and Navarre on his grandfather's death in 1774 and reigned until the abolition of the monarchy on September 1792. From 1791 onwards, he used the style of King of the French. The first part of Louis XVI's reign was marked by attempts to reform the French government in accordance with Enlightenment ideas. Les Lumières. These included efforts to increase tolerance towards non-Catholic as well as abolish the death penalty for deserters. The French nobility reacted to the proposed reforms with hostility. Okay, so the ideas that he took were interesting for his time. I like that. History class with, Faelie. Hello, Andy. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good. Faelie. The French nobility reacted to proposed reforms with hostility and successfully opposed their implementation. So basically, he had the nobility working against him the whole time. Louis implemented the regulations of the grain market, advocated by his economic liberal minister Turgot, but it resulted in an increase of in bread prices in a period of bad harvests. It led to food scarcity, which during a particularly bad harvest in 1775 prompted the masses to revolt, which makes sense. From 1776, Louis XVI actually supported the North American colonists who were seeking their independence from Great Britain, which were realized in the Treaty of Paris. The ensuing debt and financial crisis contributed to the unpopularity of the Ancien Régime. This led to the convening of the Estates General of 1789. My brain? Yes. Okay. It's condemned among the members of France's middle and lower classes, resulted in strengthened opposition to the French aristocracy and to the absolute monarchy, of which Louis and his wife, Marie Antoinette, were representative. Increasing tensions and violence were marked by events such as the storming of the Bastille, during which riots in Paris forced Louis to definitely recognize the legislative authority of the National Assembly. And it's funny because, this week I've watched The Rose of Versailles, and when I look at the portrait that I got of Louis XVI, I suddenly remember that his depiction in the anime was actually pretty good, pretty accurate. Um, but basically, what I'm reading so far is that he got bullied. Thank you for liking the stream, Andy. Yeah, I've watched The Rose of Versailles and reacted to it during this week, which is based on France and exactly the time period, to be exact. When I think it starts when Marie Antoinette and Louis are like 14 years old, as well as the main character, the Rose of Versailles, Oscar. And yeah, his physical depiction in the anime is not that bad. It's pretty close. I'll go check this out. Thanks, Faye. You're welcome, Lone Wolf. You're welcome. Anime was real in France. Imagine. W generally accepted historical depictions in anime. Yeah, yeah. I was actually surprised. Like I'm just realizing right now. It's making me surprised. Louis's indecisiveness and conservatism led some elements of the people of France to view him as a symbol of perceived tyranny of the Ancien Regime, and his popularity deteriorated progressively. His unsuccessful flight to Varennes in June 1791, 4 months before the constitutional monarchy was declared, seemed to justify the rumor that the king tied his hopes of political salvation to the prospect of foreign intervention. His credibility was deeply undermined, and the abolition of the monarchy and the establishment of a republic came an ever-increasing possibility. The growth of anti-clericalism among revolutionaries resulted in the abolition of the dîme, religious land tax, and several government policies aimed at the déchristianisation, if you prefer, of France. So no more religion, no more Christianism. I need to learn how to pronounce that word because Jesus, it's big and I don't know how to pronounce it. In a context of civil and international war, Louis XVI was suspended and arrested at the time of the insurrection of 10 August 1792. 1 month later, the monarchy was abolished and the First French Republic was proclaimed on 21st September of 1792. The former king became a desacralized French citizen addressed as Citoyen Louis Capet. They literally humiliated him. It refers to his ancestor Hugh Capet. Louis was tried by the National Convention, self-instituted as a tribunal for the occasion, found guilty of high treason, and executed by guillotine on January 1793. Louis XVI was the only king of France ever to be executed, and his death brought an end to more than 1,000 years of continuous French monarchy. Both his sons died in childhood before the Bourbon Restoration. His only child to reach adulthood, Marie-Thérèse, was given over to her Austrian relatives in exchange for French prisoners of war, eventually dying childless in 1851. Womp womp. Absolutely. Womp womp. We knew what he meant. Canonically guillotined here. He started well and then it went downhill. Yeah. And plus he tried to flee. Guys. And this is such a coward move. Get him out. To the guillotine he goes. As a lot of them do. Well, most of them so far got assassinated or died from illness. So that's just a strategy, am I right? He's the only one that actually tried actively to flee, which is insane. And then we got the House of Bonaparte. There is no way. There is no way. Okay. That's gonna be funny. So we stop at Napoleon III, right? And here comes House of Bonaparte, First French Empire, and Napoleon I. Napoleon of Bonaparte. I just want to say one thing. He looks like the perfect depiction of a nice guy on his portrait. um so I believe he's Italian. Napoleone di Buonaparte. Later known by his regal name Napoleon I, was a French emperor and military commander who rose to prominence during the French Revolution and led successful campaigns during the Revolutionary Wars. But he's died maidenless, for real. But he's also the one that made this one thing saying that you basically the men were owners of their wives as much as they were the owner of their livestock. And to me that was insane when I read that. Oh my god, Connor. Connor, hello. I have 10% battery and 8 minutes to go, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to rank them all. Born on the island of Corsica, resentful of the French monarchy, and supported the French Revolution in 17. There is no way. There is no way. He supported the French Revolution, then took the throne. What a bitch. Oh my god. Just reading this. Okay. Began military campaign against the Austrian and their Italian allies, scoring decisive victories, and became the national hero. 2 years later, he led a military expedition to Egypt that served as a springboard to political power. He engineered a coup in November 1799 and became first consul of the Republic. And in 1804, to consolidate and expand his power, he crowned himself Emperor of the French. And it's not done. It's not the worst part. Napoleon was forced to abdicate in April 1814, and then he was exiled to the island of Elba, between Corsica and Italy. The Bourbons were restored to power, but Napoleon escaped in February 1815 and took control of France again. So, I'm not putting him to guillotine tier, just because this man had the audacity to come back and take the throne again. So he's an E. He's an E. Any monarchy after the revolution, all to the guillotine. Honestly, I would have put him to the guillotine, but he comes back eventually. So basically what happens is that he gets exiled, then Louis 17 becomes the king of France for 10 months and 17 days, and then Napoleon takes back control of France. And it's not done yet, because when Napoleon takes control back of France, he takes it back for 94 days before Louis comes back to take the throne again. Oh my god. Ooh, bruh, exactly, bruh. Napoleon threw electric boogaloo. Okay, so Louis, no, 18. I cannot count. Louis 18, I believe. The desired. Why the desired? Louis Stanislas Xavier, knows as the desired, was king of France from 1814 to 1824, except for a brief interruption during the Hundred Days in 1815. Before his reign, he spent 23 years in exile from France, beginning 1791 during the French Revolution and the First French Empire. So exiled, not killed. Until his ascension to the throne of France, he held the title of Count of Provence, as brother of King Louis 60, the last king of the Ancien Regime. On 21st September 1792, the National Convention abolished the monarchy and deposed Louis 16, who was later executed by guillotine. When his young nephew Louis 17 died in prison in June 1795, the Count of Provence claimed the throne as Louis 18. Following the French Revolution and during the Napoleonic era, Louis XVIII lived in exile in Prussia, Great Britain, and Russia. So basically, he was hiding more than exiling, in my opinion. When the Sixth Coalition first defeated Napoleon in 1814, Louis XVIII was placed in what he and the French royalists consider his rightful position. Okay, so musical thrones. Basically, it was basically that. So first of all, the guy is full of himself. It starts like that. He's full of himself. However, Napoleon escaped from his exile in Elba and restored his French Empire, which is honestly crazy. I don't know how he escaped from his exile on an island. Louis XVIII fled, and the Seventh Coalition declared war on the French Empire, defeated Napoleon again, and restored again Louis XVIII to the French throne. Louis XVIII ruled as a king for slightly less than a decade. His Bourbon Restoration government was a constitutional monarchy, unlike the absolutist Ancien Régime in France before the Revolution. As a constitutional monarch, Louis XVIII royal prerogative was reduced substantially by the Charter of 1814, France's new constitution. His return in 1815 led to a second wave of White Terror. Second White Terror occurred in France following the defeat of Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo and the enthronement of Louis XVIII as a king of France after the 100 Days. Okay. Headed by the ultra-royalist faction. The following year, Louis dissolved the unpopular Parliament de Chambre Introuvable, giving rise to the liberal Doctrinaire. His reign was further marked by the formation of the Quintuple Alliance and a military intervention in Spain. Louis had no children, and upon his death, the crown passed to his brother, Charles X. Louis XVIII was the last king or emperor of France to die a reigning monarch. His successor, Charles X, abdicated, and both Louis Philippe I and Napoleon III were deposed. So, guillotine. Guillotine. Hello guys, welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good. In my opinion, it's guillotine for multiple reasons. The people wanted the people wanted a democracy. He considered that his place as king was rightful, like he deserved that place, but he didn't do nothing. He was in exile the whole time. He just waited for his time to sit his ass down on a cushioned cool chair, you know. So no, freak off, man, freak off. You have no rights to be here. Okay, Charles X, and then we will have Louis Philippe and Napoleon III, and we will be done. I have 4%. Oh god, 4%. Gotta plug my charger in. Give me 1 sec. I'm moving you guys here. There we go. Hopefully it will not crash. It's not crashing. W. Okay. So, Charles X, King of France from 16th September 1824 to August 1830, an uncle of the uncrowned Louis 17 and younger brother of reigning kings Louis 16 and Louis 18. He supported the latter in exile. After the Bourbon Restoration in 1814, Charles, as heir presumptive, became the leader of the ultra-royalist, a radical monarchist faction within the French court that affirmed absolute monarchy by divine rights, and opposed the constitutional monarchy concession towards liberals and the guarantee of civil liberties granted by the Charter of 1814. Charles gained influence within the French court after the assassination of his son, Charles Ferdinand, Duke of Berry, in 1820, and succeeded his brother Louis 18 in 1824. Reign of almost 6 years proved to be deeply unpopular amongst the liberals in France from the moment of his coronation in 1825, in which he tried to revive the practice of the royal touch. What is that? Laying on of hands whereby French and English monarchs touched their subjects regardless of social classes, with the intent to cure them of various diseases and conditions. That's interesting. The government appointed under his reign reimbursed former landowners for the abolition of feudalism at the expense of bondholders. The fact that he wanted to revive the practice of the royal touch to me makes me already think that he had a god complex. Okay, he had a god complex. Increase the power of the Catholic Church and reimpose capital punishment for sacrilege. Capital punishment being death, I suppose. Into conflict with the liberal majority Chamber of Deputies, Charles also approved the French conquest of Algeria as a way to distract his citizens from domestic problems. What a loser! What a loser! I cannot believe that man is such a loser. And forced Haiti to pay a hefty indemnity in return for lifting a blockade and recognizing Haiti's independence. What a loser! He eventually appointed a conservative government under the premiership of Prince Jules de Polignac, who was defeated in the 1830 French legislative election. He responded with the July ordinances disbanding the Chamber of Deputies, limiting franchise, and reimposing press censorship. Boo! Within a week, Paris faced urban riots, which led to the July Revolution of 1830, which resulted in his abdication and the election of Louis-Philippe I as King of the French. Exiled once again, Charles died in 1836 in Gorizia, then part of the Austrian Empire. He was the last of the French rulers from the senior branch of the House of Bourbon. I think we can all agree that this dude, this loser, deserved the guillotine. Hi, Clotho. Dog water. L. Absolutely. Like, what a loser. That's an absolute loser right here. Oh. Can't believe Charles X was such a loser. Good water. Stay hydrated, guys. Guillotine is too good for him. Yeah, honestly, he would have deserved the guillotine, but no, they let him run. They let him run because they had, I believe, abolished death penalty back then. Probably, I think. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know why they didn't kill him. I like Smug Faelie. Smug Faelie's really iconic. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Me smug? I'm never smug. Okay. So Louis Philippe I, nicknamed the Citizen King, was king of the French from 1830 to 1848 and the penultimate monarch of France. As Louis Philippe, Duke of Chartres, he distinguished himself commanding troops during the Revolutionary Wars and was promoted to lieutenant general by the age of 19, but he broke with the Republic over its decision to execute King Louis XVI. He fled to Switzerland in 1793. What is it with these people running away? Why? After being connected with a plot to restore France's monarchy, boo! His father, Louis Philippe II, Duke of Orleans, Philippe Egalité, fell under suspicion and was executed during the Reign of Terror. Louis Philippe remained in exile for 21 years until the Bourbon Restoration. He was proclaimed king in 1830 after his cousin Charles X the Loser was forced to abdicate by the July Revolution. The reign of Louis Philippe is known as the July Monarchy and was dominated by wealthy industrialists and bankers. During the period 1840 to 1848, he followed conservative policies, especially under the influence of French statesman François Guizot. He also promoted friendship with Great Britain and sponsored colonial expansion, notably the French conquest of Algeria. His popularity faded as economic conditions in France deteriorated in 1847, and he was forced to abdicate after the outbreak of the French Revolution in 1848. He lived for the remainder of his life in exile in the United Kingdom. His supporters were known as Orleanists. The Legitimists supported the main line of the House of Bourbon, and the Bonapartists supported the Bonaparte family. Among his grandchildren were the monarchs Leopold II of Belgium, Empress Carlota of Mexico, Ferdinand I of Bulgaria, and Queen Mercedes of Spain. What a loser, too. That's another absolute loser. Wouldn't be a French monarchy deals with a real pack dude. He's an absolute loser. Off with his head. Guillotine tier. Guillotine tier. Let's go. Off with his head. He didn't do anything. He was just there to be there. And he was like, yeah, it's my place. And he also conspired to make the monarchy come back. So he was wanting to be there for since the beginning. He was rotten to the core. The elections were rigged. Fully rigged. And then we have our last monarch, which is Napoleon III. So Napoleon III, Charles Louis Napoleon Bonaparte, was the first president of France from 1848 to 1852, and the last monarch of France as Emperor of the French from 1852 until he was deposed on 4 September 1870. Huh. Wait a second. Huh. So did he call himself emperor? Is that what I'm seeing right now? Loverboy, welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good. My tummy's rumbling. Prior to his reign, Napoleon III was known as Louis Napoleon Bonaparte. He was born in Paris as the son of Louis Bonaparte, King of Holland, and Hortense de Beauharnais. Napoleon I was Louis Napoleon's paternal uncle, and one of his cousins was the disputed Napoleon II. Louis Napoleon was the first and only president of the French Second Republic, elected in 1848. Who was voting back then? He seized power by force in 1851 when he could not constitutionally be re-elected. A loser. Another loser. Bro, cannot be re-elected. So he's like, no, I'm staying here. No, Fu, welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good. He later proclaimed himself emperor. What a loser! Of the French and founded the Second Empire, reigning until the defeat of the French army and his capture by Prussia, boo, and its allies at the Battle of Sedan in 1870. Napoleon III was a popular monarch who oversaw the modernization of the French economy and filled Paris with new boulevards and parks. Great. Urbanization. Great. Bravo. Expanded the French colonial empire, made the French merchant navy the second largest in the world, and personally engaged in 2 wars, maintaining leadership for 22 years. He was the longest reigning leader of France since the fall of the Ancien Régime. Although his reign would ultimately end on the battlefield, deserved. What a goober. A big loser. Wow, you made boulevards and parks. GG. Napoleon III commissioned a grand reconstruction of Paris carried out by prefect of the Seine, Baron Georges Eugène Haussmann. He expanded and consolidated the railway system throughout the nation and modernized the banking system. So the railway thing is a good thing. The banking system, I'm not so sure. Probably not. Napoleon promoted the building of the Suez Canal, okay, that's useful, and established modern agriculture, which ended famines in France and made the country an agricultural exporter. Okay, that's a good thing. He negotiated the 1860 Cap d'un Chevalier free trade agreement with Britain and similar agreements with France's other European trading partners. Social reform included giving French workers the right to strike, the right to organize, and the right for women to be admitted to a French university. Bravo! Oh my god! Suddenly it's getting better. Oh my god, rights to education! Cheeseman, welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing good. But still, he called himself an emperor. In foreign policy, Napoleon III aimed to reassert French influence in Europe and around the world. In Europe, he allied with Britain and defeated Russia in the Crimean War from 1853 to 1856. His regime assisted Italian unification by defeating the Austrian Empire in the Second Italian War of Independence and later annexed Savoy and Nice through the Treaty of Turin as its deferred reward. At the same time, his forces defended the Papal States against annexation by Italy. He was also favorable towards the 1859 union of the Danubian Principalities, which resulted in the establishment of the United Principalities of Moldavia and Wallachia. Napoleon doubled the area of the French colonial empire with expansions in Asia, the Pacific, and Africa. On the other hand, the intervention in Mexico, which aimed to create a second Mexican empire under French protection, ended in total failure. Whoop whoop. From 1866, Napoleon had to face the mounting power of Prussia, and its minister, President Otto von Bismarck, sought German unification under Prussian leadership. In July 1870, Napoleon reluctantly declared war on Prussia after pressure from the general public. The French army was rapidly defeated, and Napoleon was captured at Sedan. He was swiftly dethroned, and the Third Republic was proclaimed in Paris. After he was released from German custody, he went into exile in England, where he died in 1833. Okay. He did a lot. Despite calling himself, because he didn't want to be like he couldn't be reelected, like a loser, calling himself an empire and staying on the throne. He did quite a few good things. Too bad that he lost war. Too bad that he lost war for sure. But he doesn't deserve the guillotine. He forced himself into power, but he did bring good stuff. So, Napoleon III, you're gonna go in rank. I'm gonna put him in A. When the man on the other side is Otto von Bismarck, can you really blame him for losing? No, especially since he didn't want to. He didn't want to declare war. He's still a nerd. He's kind of a nerd, but still, he made some progress when it comes to the general politics of France. So I cannot blame him for staying there because he did make good changes. And that concludes as if he got reelected. Absolutely. If he had been reelected, I would have given him S. But no, he decided to call himself the Empire of France. Empire of the French. But yeah, basically, that I think that concludes our tier list for today. At least French monarchy decided to end on a high note. I absolutely agree. I was not expecting it to go that well. I have more people. I thought I would have had disappointed by more people. But I still have 3 kings in S rank and 5 in A rank. Which is crazy. I was expecting something completely different. I was expecting to go guillotine, guillotine, guillotine. But yeah. Good job, Faelie. Thank you, Clotho. Really polar list. Either very good or very bad. Yeah, there's not a lot of people that are mid. Like, there's mostly like very good or very bad. I can agree with that. Name the band in A row. What do you mean the band? do you want me to find a band name for this game? Is that what you want? Yes. They look like they have a theme. Yeah, sort of. They all have like almost have all the long hair. The E ones kind of have a theme too. They all look kind of juvenile. The E ones. The E ones were either literal babies or they looked like babies, which is hilarious to me. Oh my god. Well, that was an interesting tier list. I'm gonna move this. My charger is so short. Is Charlemagne an easy S tier, Faye? I need to actually like check out a few of his things and tell you that, because like, let me see. Putting you here. There we go. Isn't that better? Let me see where I would put Charlemagne. Charlemagne. So it was probably prior to the House of Valois. Let me see. So former Holy Roman Emperor. King of the Franks. 768 from King of the Lombards from 774, an emperor of what is now known as the Carolingian Empire from 800, holding all these titles until his death in 814. Charlemagne succeeded in the unity of the majority of Western and Central Europe. Good point. and was the first recognized emperor to rule in the West after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. Approximately 3 centuries earlier. Okay. Charlemagne's rule saw a program of political and social changes that had a lasting impact on Europe in the Middle Ages. A member of the Frankish Carolingian dynasty, Charlemagne was the eldest son of Pépin de Chartres. Pépin. I love this name. And Bertrada of Laon. With his brother Carloman I, he became king of the Franks in 768 following Pépin's death, and became sole ruler in 771. As king, he continued his father's policy to provide protection for the papacy, and became its chief defender, removing the Lombards from power in northern Italy in 774. Charlemagne's reign saw a period of expansion that led to the conquest of Bavaria, Saxony, and northern Spain, as well as other campaigns that led Charlemagne to extend his rule over a vast area of Europe. He spread Christianity to his new conquest, often by force, as seen as the massacre of Verdun, perpetrated against the Saxons. In 800, Charlemagne was crowned as emperor in Rome by Pope Leo III. While historians debate about the exact significance of the coronation, the title represented the height of the prestige and authority he had achieved. Charlemagne's position as the first emperor in the West in over 300 years brought him into conflict with the contemporary Eastern Roman Empire based in Constantinople. Through his assumption of the imperial title, he is considered the forerunner of the line of Holy Roman emperors that lasted into the 19th century. As king and emperor, Charlemagne engaged in a number of reforms in administration, law, education, military organization, and religion, which shaped Europe for centuries. The stability of his reign saw the beginning of a period of significant cultural activity known as the Carolingian Renaissance. Charlemagne died in 814 and was laid to rest in the ancient cathedral within his imperial capital city, Aachen. Where would that be now? Germany. He was succeeded by his only surviving son, Louis the Pious. Louis the Pious, so I'm guessing Louis le Pieux. Also called the Fair. After Louis, the Frankish kingdom would be divided, eventually coalescing into West and East Francia, which would respectively become France and the Holy Roman Empire. Charlemagne's profound impact on the Middle Ages and the influence of the vast territory he ruled has led him to be called the Father of Europe. He's seen as the founding figure by multiple European states, and a number of historical royal houses of Europe trace their lineage back to him. Charlemagne has been the subject of artwork, monuments, and literature during and after the medieval period, and has received veneration in the Catholic Church. It's thanks to him that we have the bases we have now. I wouldn't say he's an easy S tier, but because he did so many things and shaped Europe the way it was, he's easily an A tier. Easily. S tier, I'm not so sure. Like, there's missing something. There's something missing. There's a little thing missing. So that's what I think of Charlemagne for now. Maybe I'll do the first part. Literally France's granddaddy, but he's missing something. Yes. Birthing two nations is not enough for Faye. I don't think it was voluntary, though. I don't think that was voluntary of him. There's something crazy missing in that resume. Something a little bit more spicy, you know. Because it's technically not only France. Like, there's Germany. Like, there's a whole big part of Europe, which is pretty dope. But there's something missing. There is one thing missing. I don't think he's categorized in the. Yeah, he's not in the. Yeah, he's not in the French monarchs as well. He's not really a French monarch. What if Charlemagne also died by headbutting a door? Well, in this case, he would probably be a rank B. Because that's kind of a sad way to die. Wrong kind of spice, I guess. Yeah, wrong kind of spice. If you say, yeah, he went into war and beheaded the general of the enemy troops, okay, that would be a good kind of spice. That would be a bit barbaric, but that would be a good kind of spice. That would make him metal, you know? What if he invented the croissant? I don't know if I don't know if that would make a big difference. Um Croissant is good, but it's not something that would make me change the rank for the guy. But he's easily an A tier, which is like already great. But he was not really a monarch of France. It's probably also why I cannot put him in S, because he never really governed over France. Like, he was an emperor, and France was not really birthed back then. It did not really exist, you know. Hashtag croissant. But yeah, that was an interesting tier list. Thank you, Mystic, for basically making the tier list with me. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the clap, Smooth Brain. Fin tier list fade is the French Prime Minister tier list. I gotta wait. I cannot talk about the current politics. I could talk about the politics before that, but not the current one. It was fun and informative. I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad you had fun seeing me roast and booing certain kings. I had fun too. It was really nice to have you there, by the way, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you, at a live chat as well, for hanging out. I had lots of fun. It's always a pleasure to have you guys here. Waiting eagerly for the Charles de Gaulle rating. I'm divided on Charles de Gaulle. Anytime. Thanks for streaming. You don't need to thank me, Stuffed Crust. Thank you for joining. Mostly, it's what is most important. Three Musketeer watch along next. Why not? Why not? That could be interesting. I could put that into the side. I remember watching like a movie like a while ago around the Three Musketeers, but I don't remember anything. So that would be interesting. Okay. Good job on the stream, Faelie. Thank you, Clotho. Please, you guys, take care. I'll see you tomorrow for an unannounced stream. I don't know what we're gonna do yet. I still have to think about it. Frog Week is hard to figure out. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. Please take care, stay hydrated. I love you guys too. Very much. I'll see you later. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Matane.